All right, we are live. Today is Sunday, May 9th. It is Mother's Day. And for all those who have mothers in their lives, uh, I guess perhaps be grateful if you have a loving and good mother. My mother is no longer on this earth. She been about 10 years. Actually, I was 41. I was actually the same age. I was the same age that my mother was when she lost her mother. We were both 41 years of age. So it's kind of interesting there. And the loss of my mother was pretty traumatic. I think it's traumatic for most people. Uh, and but it did make me think. Death does change your outlook on life. I've never had children, but I hear that having children also changes your outlook. I don't know what changes you more, uh, having children or the death of your parents. Since I haven't experienced the children, uh, but I have experienced the death of my parents. The death of my parents gave me kind of a different perspective on things that sometimes I have to kind of go back to. Before my parents died, I held a little bit of animosity against my mother and a great deal of animosity before my father. My father's also passed away. It's been about 3, 4 years since my father passed away. But what I wanted from my parents, I wanted them to be saints instead of human beings. And we're not raised by saints. We are raised by living, breathing humans with feelings uh, and emotions and all forms of neuroses and other things that they perhaps can't help. But I couldn't see beyond my own nose with my criticisms of my parents and how they should have done things better and how they put disadvantages in my life. Which, look, I think all children and some children get the luck of the draw and they make them improve. Some parents are detrimental in that area. But if I had it to do over again, I'd like to think that that I would have been a lot more understanding. And you know, I didn't even, my mother had been a world traveler. She'd been to Morocco. She'd been all through Europe. Although I was born in Europe, I never experienced it beyond 1 year old when my parents left Germany back from the United States. And, you know, I had, at times difficulty with both my parents, but again, had I had the knowledge I have today, I certainly would do things differently. And I chose to take things on a more emotional path, and I wasn't able to basically see the world around me, and that's what it looks like today. Uh, a lot of people can't see beyond their own nose, and uh, they only they only see things through their own uh, their own perceptions, their own very myopic and narrow perceptions, and they don't look at the full picture. My parents were raised a certain way, uh, certainly more strict than I was, and in my father's case, far more abusive. And for me, uh, I'm looking at things now and the way the United States is, and it seems like the way a large portion of the West, which should be a thinking world, doesn't seem to be that way right now. At the moment, it seems kind of juvenile, and to a degree, that's the way I thought. I was rather juvenile with my thought process. I thought it was like strong and noble and this and that, but it wasn't. And these same people uh, who are blocking traffic and saying "Get your knee off my neck," they also think they're strong and righteous, self-righteously angry. Uh, and I look at them and I say, "This couldn't be further from the truth." And what can you do when the establishment seems to support this? It's almost like you're in a household with abusive parents. Sometimes you have to flee and you have to leave. And I don't know if things will change, but people do change. It does take time, but they do often change, and sometimes they don't. But if a person doesn't see your point of view and the disagreement is such, sometimes you have to leave that situation. People leave countries, they leave states all the time. Uh, and some that might be the best thing for people to do right now. If people are that irrational, sometimes the best thing you can do is go to another place where you're treated well and treated with respect and dignity. Anyway, this is Brian with Transparency and Merit. Hey, like and subscribe and leave a comment down below if you wish.